Hey guys, so it is that time of year when all of the fall TV shows start coming to an end, that way the summer shows can start. So there are a lot of shows that have ended seasons recently, and there are 3 of them that I was requested to review, and then there are some that I added to the list that I'm just gonna kind of make a comment on, not so much review because that would take too long. But the 3 that I was actually requested to review were Supernatural, The Vampire Diaries, and Once Upon a Time, and that was by Adam. And before I start saying anything else, I am looking over here because my laptop is over here and it has the list of shows, so I'm going to be looking over to the side pretty often, so ignore that. I'm also going to say that I didn't really take notes or anything like that on these episodes, so I'm just going to comment on what I can remember the most from the episode, which is probably the way to do it, I think, because after a couple weeks from seeing the episode, what I can remember is probably what was most important about the episode, so I'm going to comment on that stuff. Let's start with Supernatural. So the main thing that I remember from this episode was Crowley, which I was excited that he was back because it's Crowley and he's one of my favorite characters. Even though he is a bad guy, he is still one of my favorite characters. Plus, I love the actor that plays him, and I get excited every time that he shows up on the show, which I found out it's not just me, because my friend that watches it was also excited that he was returning before the season ended, so he showed up, which was awesome. Besides for that, I mean, it was a good episode, but it was the ending that was definitely the highlight of the whole episode. The killing of the Leviathan, that whole scene, just not so much like how the scene happened, it was like the effects and the way that the death occurred, because that's one thing on Supernatural is you don't know what's going to happen when they kill something, and it's always a little different. And the way that the Leviathan died, I thought was awesome, just the way it like kind of blew up sort of thing. And then of course you have the ending of Cass and Dean in Purgatory, and Cass disappears, which me and my friend both agree that something terrible better have happened to him, because if he let Dean there alone on purpose, not cool. Although Cass is kind of, not right in the head right now, which I do have to say I like Crazy Cass. He is way more entertaining than regular Cass, and it definitely brings a new comedic relief to the show that wasn't exactly there before, because the brothers don't really have the good cheer that they used to, which is kind of understandable because their jobs went from saving people to saving the entire world, so they don't really have quite as much fun as they used to. So bringing in Cass as Crazy has definitely lightened the mood a little bit. Next is The Vampire Diaries, which I am just going to talk about the end of this episode because that's all I really remember about it, because that was the best part and kind of just made you forget about everything else that happened before it, which of course is the car crash scene. Okay, one, the overlapping of the current car crash that she got in with Matt and the one that happened back when she got in it with her parents. I loved the way they did that. It was almost like poetic, the way that they were going between the 2 scenes of the crashes. I loved that part. Made it so much more emotional, I think, and just kind of showed her reasoning for not wanting to be saved, I guess you could say. So I loved that scene. And then of course you have the big bombshell at the end of the episode, which I did not see. Well, I saw it coming as I was watching the episode, but I mean, overall, for the series, I never thought that they were going to do this, which of course was Elena becoming a vampire. Now, in the books, this happens in like the third book. It happens really, you know, pretty much right away at the beginning of the series, not far into it. Second or third, I'm not really sure, but it happens towards the beginning of the series. But in the show, it just never seemed like they were going to go in that direction. I'm excited because I feel like now that she's a vampire, she's going to like Damon more than Stefan, just because the understanding of how their personalities are enhanced. So I'm excited for the new season to see what Vampire Elena is going to be like. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really glad that they went in that direction with the show, even though I never thought that they would. And definitely excited to see what's going to happen next. And the last one that Adam asked me to review was Once Upon a Time, which I have to say I really loved the finale because I have been waiting for Emma to believe in the curse the entire season. I was actually starting to get really annoyed with her because she just would not believe her own son. I understand that it's something that's kind of hard to believe, like, oh, Mom, all the people that live in this town are fairy tale characters and they're only human because the evil witch who's actually my adopted mom is, you know, has this curse on everyone. And yeah, it sounds far-fetched, but I feel like on the show, when she's actually there and experiencing everything, there's so many things that should have made her start to believe him way sooner than she did. I mean, there were the moments where she seemed like she was questioning if it could be true or not, but it wasn't until the finale that she finally was like, yeah, this is true, this is actually happening. So I was getting annoyed as to when she was actually going to believe in the curse. So I really like the finale because she finally believes in the curse and it finally gets broken and everyone is free, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen now that they're all have their memory back, but they're still not in their own world. So now you have all these fairy tale characters in our world, so I'm wondering what's going to happen. I feel like the next season is going to have to be significantly different than the first one, since all of the characters are basically now other people. I can't even like articulate into words what I'm expecting. I just think that the new season is going to have to be very different than the first season was. Now for some other show finales that I would like to comment on. Why won't someone just stab Joffrey? It's not that hard to kill someone. So now his mom is alive. What about his dad? Because they're both supposed to be dead. Oh my god, it finally happened. What? What does this mean? What is that about? I don't even know anymore. What? What's happening? I don't know. Being human. I don't even remember what happened to being human. I'm sorry.